What if I told you that the life you're living right now isn't even close to what you're capable of? That your greatest victories, your proudest moments, the version of you that would make your younger self speechless, are still out there, untouched, because you haven't unlocked the next level yet. Let that sink in. You think you've seen your limits, but you haven't even warmed up. And yet, here's the truth nobody likes to admit. Most people will never see that version of themselves. Not because they don't want it, not because they don't dream of it, but because they never make the shift. They never change the way they think, the way they show up, the way they respond when life gets messy. They stay in the same mental neighborhood for years, convincing themselves they're making progress when all they've done is rearrange the furniture. The next level mindset isn't about working harder until you collapse. It's not about collecting more motivational quotes and hoping something changes. It's about flipping a switch inside you. And once it's on, you can't turn it off. Because when that switch flips, you stop playing small. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop waiting for the right time because you realize this is the time. And you start moving like someone who refuses to settle. But here's the problem. That switch doesn't flip on its own. It's not going to magically happen because you had a good day or read a powerful post online. It's going to happen when you make a decision and then you back that decision up with action every single day until the world has no choice but to see you differently. And maybe right now you're thinking, but I've tried before, I've worked hard, I've pushed myself, and still I'm stuck. I get it. I've been there. That's why I need you to hear me when I say this. There's a reason it hasn't worked yet. And it's not because you're weak. It's because you've been chasing the next level with the wrong map. You've been trying to climb a mountain while carrying the bricks that are meant to build your future. And you've been mistaking them for dead weight. You see, the next level isn't just about doing more. It's about becoming someone who can handle more. And that transformation, it's messy, it's uncomfortable, it's lonely, but it's worth every second. Picture this. It's 2 a.m. You're sitting alone, staring at your phone, scrolling through other people's lives. Somewhere deep down, you feel that little tug, that voice that says, you're meant for more. But instead of listening, you silence it. You tell yourself, tomorrow. Tomorrow turns into next week. Next week turns into next year. And before you know it, the person you could have been is just a shadow in the rearview mirror. That's the silent tragedy of our lives. Not failure, but the life we never lived because we kept telling ourselves we weren't ready. The truth? You're never going to feel ready. The next level version of you doesn't wait for readiness. They build themselves while they're in motion. They fall, they get up, they adjust. They use pain as a blueprint. They use doubt as fuel. They know that perfection is a trap and action is the only exit. Now, here's the first hard truth. Your comfort zone is a liar. It tells you that safety is the goal, that avoiding discomfort is the smart move. But what it's really doing is keeping you exactly where you are, wrapped in the illusion of progress while your dreams collect dust. If you want the next level, you've got to stop treating comfort like it's your friend. It's not. Comfort is the slow poison that kills ambition. Think about it. Every breakthrough you've ever had in life happened right after a moment that scared you, that stretched you, that made you wonder if you could handle it. And when you did handle it, you realized you were capable of way more than you thought. The next level mindset demands that you live there, not visit it once a year when you're feeling inspired, but make it your home. And here's the second truth. You are not your past. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care how many times you've messed up, how many opportunities you've blown, how many people have told you that you can't. Your past is a lesson, not a life sentence. The only way it defines you is if you keep dragging it into your future. I need you to hear this. The next level version of you isn't weighed down by old chapters. They don't keep reading the same page over and over, hoping the ending will change. They close the book and start writing a new one. But the shift, the real transformation, starts with one choice. Stop asking, what can I get? And start asking, who can I become? Because here's the thing. The next level doesn't just come to people who want it. It comes to people who are ready for it. And being ready isn't about having more resources. It's about becoming more resourceful. It's about showing up when you're tired. It's about saying yes to the thing that scares you. It's about refusing to shrink to fit the room you're in, and instead expanding until the room has to adjust to you. You want that promotion. Stop thinking like an employee. Start thinking like a leader. You want that business to work? Stop thinking like a dreamer. Start thinking like a builder. You want that body, that health, that energy? Stop thinking like someone who's trying to get fit. Start thinking like an athlete. This is the shift. This is where the next level lives, in your identity. When you change who you are, what you do will follow. And let me tell you, the road isn't glamorous. People think the next level means more applause, more validation. In reality, it often means more criticism, more misunderstandings, more nights where you question if it's even worth it. But here's the beauty. Every single obstacle is a filter. It weeds out the ones who want it from the ones who are willing to earn it. And if you keep going, if you refuse to quit, the world starts to notice. The opportunities start to find you. The doors that once slammed shut start to open. Because here's the final truth for now. The next level isn't given, it's taken. And it's taken by the ones who are willing to keep moving when everyone else stops. Now, here's where it gets real. Because the next level isn't just an upgrade in your results, it's an upgrade in you. It's an upgrade in how you think when things fall apart, how you respond when life hits you harder than you expected, how you keep going when there's no applause, no validation, and no one watching. Let's get honest. Everybody loves the idea of leveling up. Few are ready for the cost, because the truth is, when you start chasing the next level, you're going to lose things. You might lose friends who don't understand why you're so driven. You might lose comfort because you're constantly pushing yourself into the unknown. You might lose old habits that used to make you feel safe. And it's going to hurt. It's going to feel like pieces of you are falling away. But what's actually happening, you're shedding the skin of the person you used to be so the person you're becoming can breathe. I remember a time in my own life when I thought I was working hard. I thought I was on my way to the life I wanted. But deep down, I knew I was still negotiating with my excuses. I would work when I felt like it. I would push, but not past the point where it got uncomfortable. I would dream big, but act small. And then one day, I lost something that mattered to me. It shook me. It made me realize I'd been living in almost mode, almost committed, almost disciplined, almost all in. And that day, I made a promise to myself I would never be almost again. That's the day my next level mindset was born. Not when I achieved something, not when someone believed in me, but when I decided I would stop negotiating with my potential. And that's what I'm asking from you right now. A decision, not a maybe I'll try, not a we'll see. A decision that from this day forward, you will show up like the person you want to be. Before the results come, before the recognition comes, before you feel ready. Because here's the thing, the next level is built in the dark, when nobody is cheering for you. When there's no guarantee it's going to work. When the only thing you have is your belief and your grind. You have to be willing to plant seeds you may not see grow for months, maybe even years. You have to fall in love with the process more than the prize. Because if you can love the process, the late nights, the early mornings, the discipline, the learning, the failing, you become unstoppable. Why? Because then success isn't the fuel. You are, your drive, your vision, your refusal to settle. Now let's talk about something people rarely address, resistance. Every time you try to level up, resistance shows up. It's that inner voice that says, this is too hard, you're not cut out for this. Why bother? It's the people who suddenly start questioning your choices. It's the setbacks that make you think maybe the universe is telling you to quit. But here's what you need to understand. Resistance is proof that you're on the right track. It only shows up when you're moving into new territory. It's the guard dog at the door of your next level. And the only way past it is through it. You've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You've got to stop treating challenges like stop signs and start seeing them as mile markers. Now, I want to paint a picture for you. Imagine two versions of yourself standing in front of you right now. One is the version who stays exactly the same. They keep their current habits, their current mindset, their current routines. They live a life that's comfortable, predictable, maybe even pleasant. But 5 years from now, you can see it in their eyes. That quiet, what if? The regret that they never even tried to see what they were capable of. Then there's the other version, the one who says yes when fear says no. The one who trades excuses for execution. The one who stops waiting for the perfect time and starts creating it. 5 years from now, that version is living a life they once thought was impossible. They're stronger, wiser, free. Which one do you want to be? Because the choice is yours, and the choice is now. I know, the road to the next level feels overwhelming. You don't have all the answers. You don't know exactly how it's going to work out. But here's a secret. You don't need to know every step. You just need to take the next one. Start small, build momentum, stack wins. Momentum is the most powerful force you can create. It turns small actions into massive results. And once you've got it, the same people who doubted you will ask you how you did it. Let me leave you with this. You were not put on this earth to live the same day over and over until you die. You were not given this mind, this heart, this body just to survive. You were given the ability to dream for a reason. You were given the ability to create, to change, to grow for a reason. But none of that means anything unless you use it, unless you decide that today is the day you stop waiting. Today is the day you draw the line in the sand and step into the person you were always meant to be. And when you feel that resistance, when you feel the fear, I want you to remember this. Fear is not a wall, it's a door. And on the other side of it is your next level. So here's my challenge to you. Starting right now, act like the person you want to become. Speak like them, work like them, think like them, and do it every single day until the world catches up. Because when you live with the next level mindset, nothing can stop you. Not fear, not doubt, not failure. Because you'll understand that every setback is a setup, every challenge is a chapter, and every day is a chance to rewrite your story. But here's something most people don't realize. The next level isn't just about achieving more, it's about becoming someone who could never go back to the old you. That's the real win. When the old habits don't even tempt you anymore, when the old excuses feel foreign, when the old self would look at you now and barely recognize who you've become. That's the point where you've truly crossed over, because the next level is a one-way door. Once you step through, once you taste what you're capable of, there's no unseeing it. You can't go back to good enough. You can't go back to sleepwalking through your own life. But before you reach that door, you'll face the hardest test, the test of discipline without reward. Let's be honest. We live in a world addicted to instant gratification, a world that tells you if you don't see results in a week, it's not working, a world that confuses visibility with value. And so, when you start doing the work, the real, unglamorous, grinded out everyday kind of work, you'll look around and wonder, is this even worth it? Because nobody's clapping, nobody's watching, nobody's texting you congratulations. But this is where champions are built. The next level mindset thrives in silence. It's in those early mornings when no one else is awake. It's in those late nights when no one else is still working. It's in those invisible moments where you're stacking brick after brick, knowing the world will only see the house when it's finished. But you're falling in love with the building. Think about the greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the most inspiring leaders. You didn't see their day ones. You didn't see the thousands of hours where they were nobodies to the world, but relentless in their own eyes. What you see now is just the public harvest of years of private planting. And that's what you have to understand. The next level isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the shadows, and the shadows can be lonely. And here's another truth. The people closest to you might not understand your drive. Some will cheer for you. Others will question you. Some will support you. Others will secretly hope you fail because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. And you have to learn to keep moving anyway, because the next level is not a group trip. It's a solo climb. And sometimes you have to let go of certain hands to free up your grip for the next hold. That doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you love yourself and your future enough to protect your momentum. There's a powerful question I ask myself when I feel doubt creeping in. If I quit now, what will I teach the person I'm becoming? Because here's the thing. Every time you quit, every time you break a promise to yourself, you're teaching your future self that your word can't be trusted. But every time you follow through, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, you're teaching your future self that you can count on you. And that's the foundation of the next level mindset, self-trust. Because once you trust yourself, there is nothing in this world you can't take on. Now let's talk about the two enemies you will face on this journey: fear and fatigue. Fear will whisper, "You're not ready." Fatigue will whisper, "You're too tired." And both will be right if you believe them. But if you understand that fear is just a compass pointing toward your growth, and fatigue is just the cost of carrying your dreams uphill, you stop running from them. You start walking with them. The next level mindset doesn't pretend fear doesn't exist. It acknowledges it, nods, and says, "Let's go anyway." And here's where it gets exciting. There will be a day, and I promise you this, where something that used to terrify you will feel like second nature. The speech you were afraid to give, the business risk you were afraid to take, the relationship you were afraid to pursue. One day, you'll do it without hesitation, and you'll realize that the only thing that ever had power over you was the story you told yourself. So, if you take nothing else from this message, remember this: your next level life is waiting for you. It's already built. It's already yours in potential. But it will only appear when you do. The moment you stop letting fear vote in your decisions. The moment you stop outsourcing your self-worth to the opinions of others. The moment you stop choosing the easy thing over the right thing. That's when the door opens. That's when the staircase appears. And that's when you start climbing, even if your legs are shaking. And when you get there, when you finally hit that new level, it won't just be about the money, the success, the recognition. It'll be about the person you had to become to earn it. It'll be about the nights you didn't quit, the mornings you showed up, the battles you fought in silence. That's the kind of win no one can take away from you, because the trophies might fade, the applause will eventually stop, but the person you became, that's forever. So here's your moment. Here's your choice. You can turn this video off and go back to life as you know it. Or you can decide that today, this day, is the day you stop living at level 1 when you're capable of level 10. Because the clock is ticking, and the truth is, every day you delay is a day you could have been living your next level life. So take the first step. Say yes to the thing that scares you. Keep saying yes until fear has no power left. And when you look back, you won't just see progress. You'll see transformation. If you feel that fire right now, don't let it burn out. Subscribe, comment, share this with the one person you know needs to hear it. And remember, your next level isn't a place, it's a decision. Make it today, live it every day, and never, ever settle again. You see, the thing about the next level is that it demands a different version of you, a version you might not even recognize right now. That's the part most people underestimate. They think it's just about doing more of what they're already doing. But the truth, the next level doesn't come from more of the same. It comes from something completely different. It comes from breaking the rules you've been living by, the ones you didn't even realize you wrote. It comes from letting go of the stories you've been telling yourself for years. It comes from questioning the limits you've been treating like truth. Think about it. How many of the rules you follow every day did you actually choose? The ones about what's possible for you, about what's normal at your age, about what you can or can't do because of where you come from. The next level mindset is built on moments like that. Moments where you stop letting fear be the author of your life. Moments where you take back the pen and say, I'm writing this chapter. And when you do that, something changes. You start to notice opportunities you never saw before. People begin to respond to you differently. Doors that were invisible start to appear. And when you knock, they open. It's not magic, it's alignment. When your mindset, your actions, and your identity match the person you're trying to become, the world adjusts. Because you're no longer showing up as someone who's trying, you're showing up as someone who's already there. But here's the test. The next level will ask you to stay consistent long after the excitement fades. It's easy to be fired up in the beginning. It's easy to post about your goals, to announce your big plans, to feel like you're on top of the world. But the hype doesn't last. What lasts is the discipline, the repetition, the boring, unsexy work that no one claps for. That's where the real magic happens. And here's something you need to understand. The next level doesn't reward people who work until they're tired. It rewards the ones who work until the job is done. The ones who can push through the mental fog, the self-doubt, the I don't feel like it days. Because those are the days that separate the dreamers from the doers. I want you to imagine something. Picture yourself a year from now. If you did everything you said you were going to do, if you actually followed through on every plan, every promise, every late night thought of, I'll start tomorrow, what would your life look like? Now picture yourself if you keep doing exactly what you're doing now. Same habits, same mindset, same comfort zone. Which one feels more exciting? Which one feels like the life you were born to live? That's your answer. And if you're honest with yourself, you already know which one you want. Now the question is, what are you willing to trade for it? Because you will have to trade something. You'll trade comfort for growth. You'll trade old habits for new ones. You'll trade some nights out for early mornings in. And yes, you'll trade short-term pleasure for long-term fulfillment. Most people aren't willing to make that trade. That's why most people never see their next level. But you're still here. You're still listening. That means you're not most people. The next level mindset is about making decisions your future self will thank you for, even if your present self doesn't like them. It's about delaying gratification, not because you have to, but because you know what's waiting for you is worth it. It's about becoming addicted to progress instead of approval. And here's something powerful. When you start living this way, people will notice, not because you're talking about it, but because you've changed. Your energy will shift, your standards will rise, your presence will feel different. And yes, it will make some people uncomfortable. That's okay. You're not here to make everyone comfortable. You're here to grow. One day, you'll wake up and realize you've crossed a line you can't uncross. You'll realize you no longer negotiate with your excuses. You no longer wait for motivation to show up before you act. You no longer measure yourself by other people's timelines. That's the day you'll know you've arrived. Not because the world said so, but because you said so. So here's my final push for you today. Don't just chase your next level. Live like you're already there. Think like it. Speak like it. Move like it. Make decisions from the perspective of the person you want to be. And watch how quickly life catches up. Because at the end of the day, your next level isn't somewhere out there. It's in you. It's been in you this whole time. And the only thing standing between you and it is the moment you decide to stop settling. If you've made it this far, I know you're serious. So here's what I want you to do right now. Before you click away, before you let this feeling fade, take one action. Send that email, start that workout, write that plan, do something, anything to prove to yourself that you're not just listening, you're living it. And when you do, you'll feel it. That switch flipping, that quiet voice turning into a roar. That's the sound of you stepping into your next level. Now go and don't look back. But let's get brutally honest for a moment. The next level isn't just an upgrade. It's a rebirth. It's a complete shedding of the version of you that survived on autopilot. It's not a glow-up you post about on Instagram. It's the late-night conversations you have with yourself when nobody's around. It's the moment you finally admit, I've been playing small. I've been letting fear, comfort, and other people's opinions rent space in my head. And it ends now. See, everyone wants transformation, but nobody wants the funeral that comes with it. Because to truly step into the next level, you have to bury the old you. And that old you, they will fight for their life. They'll remind you of the safety of your routines. They'll whisper, we've done fine without change, why risk it? But you're not here for fine, you're here for extraordinary. Think about a snake shedding its skin. The process isn't graceful, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable. But if the snake doesn't shed, it dies. Growth is nature's law. And if you're not growing, you're decaying. That's the truth most people don't want to face. The next level mindset is the willingness to go through that uncomfortable shedding process, knowing that every bit of discomfort is making room for who you're becoming. Now here's the paradox. The next level is both closer than you think and harder than you imagine. Closer because the gap between who you are now and who you want to be isn't measured in years. It's measured in choices. One decision, one risk, one act of courage can completely alter your trajectory. But it's also harder because most people will make that choice for a week, maybe two, and then quit when the novelty wears off. You've seen it, the January gym rush. The I'm starting my business announcement that never goes past a few posts. Why does that happen? Because they were committed to the excitement, not the grind, to the feeling, not the discipline. If you want your next level, you have to outlast your mood. You have to keep showing up long after the motivation is gone. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. And that's the thing. Anyone can start. Very few finish. Not because the goal was impossible, but because they underestimated the cost. Here's a truth you might not like. The next level will cost you people. It will cost you relationships that are rooted in your old identity. It will cost you the approval of people who liked you better when you were easier to control. It will cost you the comfort of always being understood. But it will give you freedom. The freedom to wake up and know you are living in alignment with your purpose. The freedom to look in the mirror and see someone you respect. The freedom to know you are not wasting your one life settling for good enough. You know what else it gives you? Grit. The kind of grit that doesn't crumble at the first sign of resistance. The kind of grit that says, throw another storm my way, I'll use it as fuel. Because here's the thing. When you're on the climb to your next level, storms are inevitable. They're not proof you're on the wrong path. They're confirmation you're on the right one. Smooth seas never made a skilled sailor, and a life without resistance never built a strong human. But I'll be real with you. There will be moments you question if it's worth it. Moments you look around and think, everyone else seems happy just coasting. Why am I putting myself through this? And in those moments, you need to remember why you started. You need to remember the version of you that was begging for more. You need to remember that the pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret will haunt you forever. Let's talk about regret for a second, because it's the silent killer. It doesn't show up right away. It waits until years have passed, until your chances have faded, until you've convinced yourself that this is just the way life is. Then it whispers, you could have been more, and that's a voice you do not want to hear. Your next level mindset is your insurance policy against that voice. It's you saying, no matter what happens, I will not leave this life wondering what I could have been. Now here's something practical. If you want the next level, you need a non-negotiable standard for yourself. Not a goal, a standard. Goals can be missed. Standards are the bare minimum you accept for yourself. For example, a goal might be, I want to work out 4 times a week. A standard is, I don't go more than 2 days without moving my body. A goal might be, I want to write a book this year. A standard is, I write 500 words every single day, no matter what. The difference? Standards create identity, and identity sustains you when willpower fades. And here's another thing. The next level version of you is already out there, living somewhere in your mind. They already know how to handle challenges. They already have the habits you need. They already make the tough calls without hesitation. Your job isn't to find them, it's to start acting like them now. But to do that, you have to cut out the noise, the endless scrolling, the meaningless debates, the opinions of people who haven't built what you're trying to build. Because you can't take advice from the sidelines if you're playing on the field. And if someone's never been where you're going, they can't give you directions. You want to know a secret? The next level often requires you to go quiet for a while. Not because you're hiding, but because you're building. And building takes focus. Focus takes boundaries. And boundaries take courage. One day, you'll come out of that quiet season and people will say, "Where did you come from?" And you'll smile because you know you've been here all along. You just stopped announcing your potential and started proving it. So, I'll leave you with this. The next level isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about realizing that this is the moment. This breath, this day, this choice. You will never feel fully ready. You will never have all the answers. And that's okay, because the next level isn't about knowing everything. It's about moving anyway.